Like my niece, ever since she was born, she's been living her best life, just doing that. And I'm trying to get on her level. She was in the park one day and she loves Peppa Pig. And this older kid was like, Peppa Pig sucks. And she just looked at her and was like, no, Peppa Pig's awesome. And she walked away. Like that's how I'm trying to live my life. All right. I like it when you do that. Oh god, I never got why Chingy was so great. I actually watched a video about like how he came up, and I was like, I had a lot of respect for him after watching that. But like right there, it just seemed like the dumbest song. I still sang it because it was an earworm, but it was still pretty dumb. But
we were very easily influenced as kids, though.
Yeah, but I was gonna say like the fact that you're saying that your palette in terms of music changes when you grow up. It's funny you say that because like when you're a kid, like the best music, you talk to anybody, they're gonna say, "That's not good music. Let me tell you about good music," and then they tell you about the music they listen to between the ages of like 13 and 17, and that's how it is for everybody because we're so impressionable at that age. You know, like that's the good music. And when I saw that tour, that festival, I was like, "Oh, that would be so great." And then I was just thinking, I don't want to be around people. I don't trust these people. Who's breathing on them? Why are they breathing on? Why are all these people like gathering together? We're in a pandemic.
They sold out.
Yeah, I'm looking at it now. Like, what the fuck?
when we were young, sold out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
Oh, it was a Census Fail song that it was on Burnout Revenge, I think.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, it sold out. They're booking another day. Like it's a fucking festival. All of these bands.
Yeah.
There's no way you can do this in one day. That's stupid.
Yeah, somebody did the math and it was like 30 minutes of set time. If they did all the bands in 12 hours, like that's not including set changes or if somebody starts late or ends late. Like,
yeah.
Also, the fact that they were able to sell that out is weird. Like you were saying, like all this
going on. It's tapping into nostalgia, and that kind of ties into what we're talking about today. But
nostalgia is drugs for millennials. So
yeah, pretty much. It's like, oh yeah, I need it. I already did all the drugs, and I need another version of it.
Actually, I think there's a threshold for nostalgia when it starts to kick in. Like every generation has had this, and when everybody gets into like their late 20s, early 30s, that's when people start like looking back on stuff. You know,
because all these bands are from that
10-year challenge. 10-year challenge, Joe.
Yep.
Yeah. Man.
Someone had posted I think one of my cousins did. He posted like, "Oh, y'all doing this 10-year challenge?" Like a woman that was slender, and then a woman that's doesn't look the same way because childbirth and life happening
with 2 C's.
Yeah. And then another friend of mine posted, "How come y'all ain't posting y'all's hairline challenges for the men?" And I was like, "Oh, damn."
Oh.
Google and Facebook have enough pictures. I mean, they don't need to refine their face algorithm anymore.
I noticed my face is a little bit fuller. Like someone had told me, they're like, "Oh yeah, you filled out," and I was like, "Oh, thanks."
weird thing to say.
Yeah.
Thanks, I guess. Well, but I do think about it too. I was like, God, I was skinny. Like I was fucking.
I used to think I was fat when I was that. Like I hate that. I look back at all these things and I was just like, oh gosh, I was just wearing the wrong size clothes. I was so skinny then, or so fit then, and I used to think I was so fat. And now after COVID, I am actually like fat in terms of like the conventional way of thinking.
I was gonna say, Shenelle, back then you were fucking fit.
I was fit, and now I'm thick with like 4 C's, and I don't like it. Like my knees hurt. Like that's mostly
okay. You want to hear something embarrassing? You want to hear something embarrassing? I was sprinting with the dogs when we were walking them the other day. I could feel my thighs rubbing. I was like, God damn it.
No thigh gap for John.
I know people listening to this are like, you're fucking skinny, you would shut the fuck up. I'm like, yeah, I get it. It's just a new revelation for me. Only because I'm not cycling anymore. Like my thighs got big when I started cycling and playing more soccer.
Yeah.
I stopped when I fucking hurt my back and my shoulder.
Man.
And my leg. Damn, I was all messed up. Yeah, my left hamstring still gets like kind of tight every now and then, but I strained it trying to stop myself from running into this dude. And I ended up hitting him anyway.
Sometimes you just have to run over people.
Yep, I would have.
He was at least 4 inches taller than me and at least 90 pounds heavier than me.
See, he'd have stopped you. Everybody would have been
He
fine.
did stop me. He did stop me, which is the worst part about it. I like jammed my heel into the ground, my left heel, and then like I guess I pulled something in my hamstring. I'm doing more stretches regularly now, so it's like getting there. But we didn't do a New Year Better Me episode. But one of my things is what I'm doing, and kind of with this show too, is like getting back into the stuff that I like to do. Podcasting, trying to find more creative outlets to do stuff. I have a fucking badass computer now that can edit things. Thanks, Adriana, for gifting that to me. It's actually her old work computer.
Funny.
It's better than what you had.
Yeah,
Right?
it's one of those Dells, like the XPS whatever's. It's a gaming laptop. But
Oh, so it's got a lot of like.
It processes, it does everything I need it to do. But yeah, getting back into more creative stuff, and then with Joe, like jumping into the D&D stuff, that's just fucking pure creativity right there. And I was like, oh shit, yeah, this is cool. I'm gonna do that.
Like same thing with
And
me.
now we're fucking doing it.
Cause like I'm so glad we're doing the D&D thing. Like I look forward. I wish it was this week. You know, I'm glad we're doing this because I was just like, well, I have work to do for sure, but like I want to do more fun things that I can do inside the house, and I truly enjoy it. You know, but like it's the same thing. I want to get into more creative stuff. I can just feel it inside me, just like I need to do something. And I'm so like, cause I've been sick the last couple of months, and somehow COVID was the least like.
Worse out of all.
Yeah, like I've been in the emergency room like twice. Like it's such an expensive. Being a woman hard. Being a woman hard. But like it's been hard. But I'm like feeling so much better now. And like my friend, she is producing this improv dating show, and she needs some help with it on Wednesday. So I get to go, and I haven't seen my improv friends in forever, so I'm excited about that. Trying not to give them the Rona.
And you had just picked that up too, right?
Yeah, like I've only been doing it for a couple months, so like I'm pretty good with like people not thinking I'm funny, but somehow some people think that I'm hilarious, and it's just like that's keeping me going. But like it's just been super fun to like get on, like do something hard and like feel like you're expanding. I got my sister to do it too. She's in level 1 of improv now because I've been trying to get her to like. I love my niece and nephew, but fuck them kids. It's not all about this. All right, like. Everything she does is like, oh, this kid has a birthday party. I have to take Liam and whatever. It's just like, no, go and do something fun. I brought her to some improv jams, which is like a free thing that anyone can go to. I wish you were here, John. I would say you should.
I would eat that shit up if
like,
I was there.
I don't know if you came to an improv jam. Like getting y'all to come to stuff is hard because y'all live so far away.
I know.
But I mean Joe and Leah, because they came to like a show.
They don't live far away.
They didn't come to a jam, but she came and she got on stage and she did things and she was funny and like I could see it light up her eyes, and I was just like, all right, I'm gonna make sure she does this. And now she's in level 1 and she's like excited about it, you know, like doing creative stuff, just like it makes you just happy. So I'm so happy like you're doing this podcast, getting back into improv. I wanted to audition for some plays, but COVID is I just don't trust anybody.
It's a bitch. COVID's a bitch.
Yeah.
And she took your sweater.
Fucking took my sweater.
Favorite sweater. Or she still has your World Cup jersey and never give it back.
My sister and I were joking that like Omicron is like we were talking about drag queens for some reason, and Omicron is the drag queen that will insult your outfit, but Delta is one that will snatch your wig. You know, so, COVID is just a mean drag queen.
For those that are new to the show, hello. This is Sunday Funday Podcast. I know we're late into the intro, but that's how we do shit. So
also,
if you don't like, if you don't like it, fuck off.
The first 5 minutes had no audio because I forgot how to use this.
Oh no!
It's all right. We ended up circling back to what we talked about.
That's our super producer right there.
Hey.
To be fair, he didn't know that he was going to be the one doing this, but I wanted to have him keep the super producer role. So.
Yeah, you better step in front of that.
I already did. Stupid.
Shut up. Kids, show off.
The show sucks. Turn it off.
Just turn.
Look, See, I muted them, and they're talking right now, and they. Okay, unmute. See, it doesn't matter. They can't hear you, Shenelle. Sorry. Okay, now they can hear you.
If you're not new to the show, but you're new to Shenelle, that's Shenelle. I don't know where she's at. Joe, where is she at?
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, yeah, that's Shenelle.
Oh well, I'm down on mine. Hey, I'm Shenelle. I don't know how to intro myself. I've known these guys forever.
Yeah,
And
you're not new to us.
yeah,
You're probably not even new to the listeners too, because you've been
well,
on an episode before.
one episode a long time ago. So hey,
I'll probably re-air that one too. In between shows, I'm planning on doing this at least twice a month.
cool.
This twice a month, D&D twice a month, poker once a month. I'm getting back into poker too, like fucking hardcore. Like that's one of the I'll get to Joe stuff in a second, but like that's one of the other things I'm trying to get back into. Also, like the fitness we talked about, creativity things, D&D being like a huge part of it now.
Yeah.
And would you want to record that, Shenelle? Like, I need to ask everybody to be sure that we're cool with it. But I kind of want to record it and just put it on Sunday Funday's YouTube as like a Sunday Funday presents Joe's Dungeon Daddy or whatever he calls it.
Dungeon Daddy. All right, Dungeon Daddy, let's do this.
Right, that's what he wanted to call it. He was very adamant that that's what he wanted to call it.
I'm
They got
down.
me the
Yeah.
outfit and everything. I don't get it.
Dungeon Daddy Joe's Jamboree or whatever.
Oh man, that has to be the name. No other suggestions are being taken. Just
Nope.
that.
Submissions
let it be written.
closed.
Let it be done.
Submissions closed. and
Daddy's
submit.
Jamboree.
Yes, that's it. Yes.
Yeah, it's the creativity stuff with that podcasting back again. I might do the sports thing. I have a couple friends that are interested in it, but I'll see what's up with that.
Nobody,
But,
I just feel like nobody watches sports like that anymore.
It's different. Like the pandemic kind of made everything
it's
different
different
too. We tried to restart. We got next twice, and then it just like there's just a lot of things getting in the way
It's a
of
lot
that.
of work too.
But like even like I follow ESPN on Instagram, and even they're basically not posting about sports. Like
It's a bunch of meme. It's a meme stuff.
Yeah.
I was just like, somebody just in the comments was like, why is this on ESPN? And then somebody else was like, great sports highlights, guys. And it's just like, I have to agree. I mean, I don't.
It's
really
like
care.
this dog's wearing a Lemieux jersey and he's on ice.
Yeah. Or there was one where
that's a hockey reference, everyone.
good because
I don't even watch hockey.
You said jersey, I assumed sports. This is a sports ball thing. I actually like listeners. I actually do like sports, so don't. I'm not all about sports ball.
God.
I know
Stop.
about
I hate
the.
when people say that.
Stop.
It's
We get it. You don't like sports.
I do like sports, just
Whatever.
maybe not football. That
What are
much.
you jumping into, Joe? I know
Yeah,
I know, but maybe Shenelle doesn't know, and the viewing audience doesn't know.
Yeah.
Hello, everyone. We're glad to be back on your Apple, Spotify, Google Play. It's not Google Play
It's not
anymore.
Google Play. I saw that I accidentally opened that the other day, and it was like, it's no longer whatever. It's like,
Yeah.
huh?
Google needs to figure their stuff out. They're
They
always
keep
changing stuff.
shifting things. We're on Meet right now. Hangouts
Yeah.
is like being killed. Like they're just trying to like consolidate
I think
things.
it's
I don't
already
know.
phased out.
Why didn't they just
No,
keep
I
the
was still
name
able to go to it. Yeah, why didn't they just keep the name?
and just change the stuff?
I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah.
Hangouts is cool.
I don't know. I mean, aside from D&D, not a whole lot else. Getting back into fitness, same as everybody else. I can't really think of anything else that I'm doing. Oh, I'm catching up on my question a day journal. That's I went the last 2 months of last year. I didn't do anything in it because we had got into D&D, and I started like writing a bunch of stuff.
No, dude, you leaned all the way in.
Yeah.
It's like,
You didn't lean in. You
So
fucking
good.
suicide dive head first.
man, rest
And I
in
kind of want to record that too, so people that watch the show and just like we had someone jump in with this too. Shout out to Adriana when we were doing our last session. That's kind of part of the reason why I wanted to record it. We talked to our brother about this too. Joe and I have a younger brother. We were talking to him about it too, and he was just like, "Man, that sounds cool!" Like, because he started getting more into like the role playing stuff.
Awesome.
So he's watching GTA Online has a bunch of people that do role playing.
They
Like
modded it. It's called
Yeah.
GTA RP.
yeah,
It's dope.
it's wild. That thing is wild.
They modded the game where it doesn't play like GTA. It's like way different. You actually have like an inventory and stuff like that. Similar to D&D, it's all like people assume roles in the GTA world and like play those roles.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's pretty dope.
I should watch that. I've been watching that show I told you about, Son of a Dungeon, on
yeah.
Corridor Crew, which is cool because they're like a bunch of Corridor Crew is a visual FX channel. Like that's
Oh
all-
yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, so they like did a whole video. They have all these things from Dwarven Forge, like
Yeah.
the actual sets, and then they they scanned all of it, and then they put themselves in it. So
That's
like
cool.
when they're they still recorded like the session with each other where they're just sitting around the table, but then you'll see them like act it out inside the actual like miniatures that they have,
That's
which has
awesome.
been pretty fun.
Yeah.
Nothing
aside,
else?
aside from that though, and then like
Dude, you got a
wanting-
backyard where you can do archery. You got.
I know
Yeah.
we haven't been able to. I haven't been able
Put
to
the
build
backstop
target.
up again.
I haven't been able to build the target stand yet, just because we've been using the garage for storage for Leah's volunteer stuff. That's another thing that's been up and running.
Didn't
too.
she build a whole ass like shed?
Well, it's
to put her stuff in?
prefab. It's not like
Yeah,
building.
it's prefabricated.
I know, but
we built that. Let me
I'm
get
gonna
that
say
straight. Let me get that
she-
straight. On a couple of those parts where we got stuck, she was getting so frustrated, and she
Oh
was
no.
like, she just is like, I'm sorry. She always apologizes after we build anything. We build
Yeah.
anything. I'm sorry. I got frustrated and grumpy. It's just like, I mean, it happens. Like, not everything works how it's supposed to. A couple of the parts weren't level. So
She
we had to,
sounds like me.
So we had to like jack a couple of the parts up manually, like put the shovel
no.
under because it's plastic. The whole shed's plastic. Put it under the thing and wedge it up so it's right, and then like the doors would align and all this stuff. It was like, yeah, I was like, yeah, there's some hiccups that happen, but that's part of it.
It sits
I
on a
will-
slab,
building
right?
anything, yeah.
It
I
sits
will
on a
say
slab, right?
though, like
No.
I told she had all that gravel. And I was just like, bitch, why didn't you call me and be like, yo, we're shoveling gravel? Like she won't ask for any help. And she's like,
Yeah,
oh, but you're
Leah and I are like super similar in that instance. Like I expect it if I'm doing it and it's listed out, like
It
there's
has
instructions,
yeah.
it needs to work the way that it says. Because the other day I bought a staple gun so we can we put a nice canvas up. Actually, I'll throw it in the episode right here. This is my edit point right here. We made a painting. Adrian and I did a painting together, and we had to get the frame and we had to stretch it
Yeah.
over the thing. Got a staple gun. Not that many moving parts in a fucking staple gun. Guess what wasn't working? The fucking staple gun.
Oh,
Why?
no.
Because it wasn't sliding. There's
the
a
thing
slide
in it that goes in it.
It's spring loaded, so it's supposed to push
Mhm.
it up and then it staples out.
Yeah.
It wasn't pushing up all the way, and then it was because it was too dry in there. She did some Google shit. This was after like I had a shit day at work too, so I just
Oh,
came
no.
home and I was just like, I don't want to do shit.
freaking
I don't want to do.
It's like the painting is supposed to help you relax.
Yeah,
and
no,
it's
I was
just,
like, I want to do
not.
anything. This is supposed to be another accomplishment. We're ticking off, and I just don't want to do anything. I just sat on the couch, started playing poker,
Oh no.
and I wasn't even into that. I lost like 2 million chips. I was like, oh god, not like real money. It's play money, but
It's like you tapped $2 million. What are you
shit,
doing?
if I did, I wouldn't be like we'd be in a studio right now, and I would actually live. I'd actually live over there.
Yeah.
Anyway, we were supposed to have this thing, and we like planned it out. We've been pushing it off. We had to buy. We did the canvas. We did the paints and everything, and then it's okay. It's one of those couples things where you're like, yeah, I'll leave it at that. So that's the whole painting part of that. So it was the canvas, and then we had to buy. And they get you for your money. So you have to buy the frame to help you
It's
stretch
expensive.
Yeah.
to help you stretch the thing, and then the fucking staple gun wasn't working. It's
Oh.
not even an advanced mechanism. It's supposed to punch the way that it does.
Mm.
She put olive oil in the sleeve so the staples can slide up, and it was working.
I like how y'all didn't have WD-40. It's just like
Yeah.
olive
Put some
oil.
olive oil.
Well, we do, and for some reason they were like, "Yeah, that works too." And then,
I mean, it's slippery.
Yeah.
It works.
That's
long story
funny.
short, it's in the living room. It looks fucking awesome, and now we actually have art where there was dead spots in the house, and we're doing some of that stuff too. Like I went up in the attic the other day to check out gaps in the insulation where it's not sitting right, and wouldn't you know it, they added new stuff into the house, and they pushed all of it to the side, so it's not sitting on top of where it gets cold in our room. It's
Yeah.
not sitting up there, so I was scraping all that back in there, and just
Ugh.
we're
All of
getting
a sudden
back.
It's warm.
Yeah, we're getting more to it's better, but we're getting back into more doing stuff like that. I want to hit fitness really hard. I found this like boxing training thing that I want to do. My friend has a one of those stand-up bags. It's not
Yeah.
even a bag. It's like the plastic thing you
punching
can.
dummy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's on the stand. I want to buy it from her. It's Nicole. I want to buy it from Nicole, but she says she uses it.
You're
She
like,
goes- she goes to the gym all the time. It's just like,
I know. I wanted to get
Yeah.
one of those whenever we got the actual punching bag because I was on the fence, and then Leah surprised me for my birthday a couple of years
Aw.
ago. She was like, "I got
my
you,
birthday too.
I got you a heavy bag," and I was like, "Oh God!" And like the bottom third of it, because the bag settles on the inside. What people do is they dump it out and then they wrap it in something a little bit softer because it has like a core on the inside of it. It was like kicking concrete. Like I remember touching. I remember like touching it and stuff before I even struck the bag. I was like, oh, this bag's settled, and I was like, crap. So I used it for a little bit, and then the last year I didn't use it. I was like, we need to sell this, and sure enough, I felt bad, but we ended up, getting the money back basically from it. But I
Have you
wanted to get
been?
one of those stand-up ones, the dummy ones, because those are cool.
When you said sell, it just reminded me. I sold you my drum kit. Have you been drumming?
Yep.
That's a creative thing, man.
It takes a little bit to, because I have it folded. It's already set perfectly, and it fits in the closet that I store all like my creative stuff in there. But yeah, I use it a couple times. I just whenever Leah's work, when she had worked later, I wouldn't be able to use it. So like,
You can put your headphones in there.
Oh yeah, but it still makes noise.
Yeah.
Thunk, thunk, thunk.
Like if I hit the rim of the drums, it makes noise, and because I'm not that perfect at hitting.
We helped our niece set up her drum kit for her birthday. She got a drum kit.
Like an actual one or like an electric one?
My dad and I were like jamming on it, and I started playing the bass again. That's why it's plugged in. And there's an amp there too. It's in one of my pictures with my sneakers in it because I was mostly showing off my sneakers. Anyway, yeah, we were jamming, and I was like, man, I fucking missed this. And I was playing. My dad was like hitting a little simple pattern, and then we switched, and I was doing some shit, and I was telling Uncle Joe can play way better than me, so you're only getting a little bit of it. She also got mad too that we were on her kit because she doesn't like anyone being there. I was like, yep, that's a drummer.
You could have the Boca Negra family band. Like the Partridge Family.
Oh God, no. Hey, we're the Monkeys. Spelled correctly.
Who needs it to be spelled correctly? The Beatles weren't B-E-E. They made sense. The Beatles. They were on the beat.
I don't like the Beatles.
You don't. Oh yeah, we've had this conversation. You don't know.
I'm in the same boat. I'm in the same boat.
You also don't know what good music is. They're great. I
know what good music is. Chingy is one of the of hip hop right now.
A pillar.
You don't even know.
I'm not gonna go there. We're not going right there. Okay. No.
Oh man.
No.
But no, Joe's been doing the Dungeon Master stuff, and I'm gonna ask everybody before we actually do it so I can record it, and then hopefully we'll be able to put it on Fun Days YouTube with everyone's consent. And yeah, I'll chop it into hours. Well, I mean, we're not trying to be, other shows, but yeah, I just want to put it on there just so because people are like on the fence about it too. I come to realize this. Like a lot of our friends are like, oh yeah, it sounds cool, but it also sounds like kind of nerdy. And I was like,
it is nerdy. Just do it.
People have been asking me about it too. Whenever I post like some of the pictures, some of the stuff that I look up or whatever, they're like, oh, like how do you play this game? Like what's it about? And then I just give them a very brief synopsis of what the game is, and they're like, how do you win? It's like you don't really win. It's like it's a storytelling mechanism. It's not like a game.
Yeah, my friend Samantha was asking me about that too. Shout out to Sam. She was like, how do you win that? And I was like, you don't. Like you level up, and it's just like a open-ended.
No, that's exactly what it is. It's a storytelling mechanism. It's a collaborative storytelling game, which is why I like it so much. It's like
you just get to be whoever you want to be.
Yeah, exactly. And then like you do stuff like the person that runs the game sets up the world, and then it's up to the main characters or the players to like do whatever in the world. It's like that's why.
Like I mean, what other game would I be able to like play a bagpipe and sing at the same time and still be a badass?
It's a magic bagpipe.
And then accidentally chop someone's head off. Like,
I cannot believe like
you need to know your weapons.
I didn't know. I didn't want to chop their head off, and then after that, it was just like let's kill everybody.
Yep.
Because
bloodlust activated.
I didn't know that it was.
Shenelle's always wanted to be a murderer.
A glaive is a polearm with an.
I didn't realize it was a. That's why it was so crazy to me that
She
like
thought it was this shillelagh.
This mace, because I thought it was a mace for some reason. I swing a mace around and it chops someone's head off.
Just
like that's so gruesome.
Oh god, no, it was pretty bad.
This game's great.
Oh, yeah, that's why I like it though, because it's a collaborative storytelling medium. That's really why I like it so much. And then it's
funny.
Yeah.
I think what's funny about our group, just to promote it a little bit more, as long as we've known each other, we cannot get it together. We cannot get it together.
Yeah,
we suck.
I need to reel that in because we spent too long arguing. That's what D&D is.
Somewhere in the last one though.
A lot of conversations, huh?
Like the session before, we spent a lot of time arguing, but this last one, we got.
That's when we kind of streamlined it a little bit more.
Took 40 minutes for y'all to figure out how to go into that place. Like they came up upon a place, and they were trying to game plan, but there was 5 different plans, and everyone flip flopped on all of them. And I was like, okay, I need to.
Yeah, but we also
I need to reel this in because like
That
it took 40 minutes
normal.
to do that, and that's probably the worst.
We were
part.
doing risk aversion, Joe. We were trying to make sure no one died, and guess what happened? No one died.
No one died yet.
Well, you know, Joe, we have like a year to do this. I feel like 40
Yeah, we got a
minutes
long time.
of risk aversion is fine.
I'm just
Also-
saying, y'all were griping because no action was happening, and then all of a sudden it's just
I
like.
feel like Leo was real upset that we weren't going. Like she was just
And then
like,
Shenelle just
"No,
like went 0 to 100. Just
I didn't know I was gonna chop their head off.
well, anyway, we'll find a way to once we get everybody to agree to it. I know already how I want to streamline this to the Sunday Fun Days YouTube page, so that'll be a separate category or a separate playlist, and y'all can watch us cut people's heads off.
Yeah,
Not
we'll
literally.
see how it goes. If y'all are interested, I can answer some questions. It's fine.
But going back to the topic, it's like not gatekeeping necessarily, but it was a specific group that it was gatekeeping. They kept it to themselves. It was just like growing up, it was an outcast thing to do, which is funny about when we were young. Festivals, like someone had posted, it was Brian. He had shared a post, and it was like, "Oh man, all of a sudden everyone's emo now, but y'all weren't when y'all were making fun of me growing up."
Yeah.
Where were y'all?
Like-
Yeah.
In Jamaica, like, for everyone, I'm from Jamaica. Like, I grew up there, came here when I was 17. So, like,
And now
all
she lives in New York.
in the coffee shop where it's sunny. There's just sunbeam on me. I'm in Texas. Like, I lived in New York. Never want to live there again. But anyways, people used to call me an Oreo because I used to listen to all these bands that are well, not all
American
of them.
remix, yeah.
Like I used to love My Chemical Romance and all that, and they used to call me an Oreo. And then like I would make money like downloading the music on Kaza and putting them on CDs and selling it to everybody. Because the thing is, they all like the music too, but they were making fun of me. Like, F you guys, you know. I mean, thanks for the money.
She's all the price. She's all the price just went up.
Yeah, y'all like the music too. Why are you making fun of me? Just like the thing you like. And like my niece, ever since she was born, she's been living her best life, just doing that. And I'm trying to get on her level. She was in the park one day and she loves Peppa Pig. And this older kid was like, Peppa Pig sucks. And she just looked at her and was like, no, Peppa Pig's awesome. And she walked away. Like that's how I'm trying to live my life. All right. Just like the thing you
Shenelle's like, now
I
I think Peppa Pig is awesome.
Peppa Pig is actually pretty great. It's pretty funny. As someone who's had to watch a lot, it's pretty funny.
I was hanging with my niece and nephew in PJ Masks.
Oh.
Yeah, and then my nephew loves dinosaur stuff, so they're watching that new Jurassic World series. I was like, man, this is
he's past that now, dude. Spider-Man.
no, it's still Jurassic World.
Oh, is
That,
it?
they have like 3 seasons, 4 seasons of that on Netflix, and I was like,
How has Jurassic Park lasted this long? It's like the same every time. I think that's why people like watching the movies. It's like, oh, there's a park, there's dinosaurs, disaster, and then like that's the formula. That's Jurassic
And it's
Park.
kind of like the real world because nobody learns anything.
Yeah, basically, like it is not plausible anymore. It's like it's been confirmed. Like, yeah, that's
Yeah.
something that would happen.
Yeah.
who's Injin in real life?
Who's Injin?
Disney?
Oh.
I don't know. Think of any evil corporation. It's Disney. Like soon you're going to be drinking Disney water and paying for your
Amazon,
Disney electricity.
Amazon Water.
Amazon water, Disney electricity.
The
That's what
sun,
it's gonna
the
be.
sun brought to you by Tesla.
Basic.
Oh.
If it was Tesla, I'd be like, here's this artificial sun that I made that's going to be better than the real sun. I hate Elon Musk.
Yeah, he sucks.
Just-
Y'all are getting diet sun right now. Y'all aren't even getting
Yeah.
full sun.
it's just
Sunny D.
his ideas are like not good, and people make him seem like he's a god. Like that stupid thing he did in in Las Vegas, that tube where they have one car that goes through and it's autonomously driven, and it's just like, why not just have a train that takes a lot of people instead of a car that can only fit 4 or I guess 5 if it's autonomously driven? It's because it looks cool. Like it's so stupid.
The people called him a modern day Tony Stark, and I was like, no, because he's not an engineer.
He's just a guy with money.
He's just a dude.
He was
But there was-
born with emeralds in his pocket. Like, come on.
Yeah, if Tony Stark was born with emeralds in his pocket, he'd probably figure out how to like use those for energy or to blow something up. I don't fucking know. All I know is I know I'm off topic, but Elon sucks. That's
Yes,
I'm
agreed.
But yeah, going back to Dungeons and Dragons, I don't know how that happened.
done. Where's
Yeah, and with the Star Wars thing too, it's just, hey, we love this thing. We want you to love it, but you don't love it like we love it, so we don't want you to love it.
Oh, you like this? Tell me about this, like kind of thing. Like,
Yeah, why do I have to prove myself?
yeah, it's like whenever the
Also, who the fuck are you?
The tweets or memes for the girls wearing a band shirt. It's like, name their first album or something like that.
no,
It's like,
name the person who did the engineering on the
Yeah,
first
it's
song
like,
they ever did.
dude, we don't freaking care. Or
God.
like, I saw another thing too.
Do you even
where-
know B-sides, bro?
I saw another thing too where it's
Do you
like,
even know B-sides, she bro?
I saw this thing where it was like I can like books, but I can't memorize them. I read a lot of books. I can say I like this book, but I also read, several hundred other books. Like, I can't memorize everything.
I
from it.
don't remember half the books I've read, and there was a time in college where I was just reading a ton of books that were not school. It just that semester wasn't that great. But like I was looking on my bookshelf, I was like, oh crap, I did read this, and like they're making movies out of a few of them now, and it's just like, oh, why does this seem so familiar?
Yeah.
It's because I read the book.
Yeah.
You're
But I
like,
didn't
neat.
remember.
Which I'll never understand that though, because it's like with any art form, it doesn't belong to you as like a consumer of art.
I will
Like,
say I kind of understand it.
Well, yeah, I do a
Because,
little
like-
bit, just because it has their emotional connection to that, whether it got them through a tough time, whether it's something that allowed them to feel more like themselves, whatever.
Mhm.
That's the claim of ownership to it is, I experienced this and I feel like it's mine.
yeah.
Well, I'm not on. I have a different reason. It's more just like Joe, when we watch the Super Bowl together, and I just jump on that bandwagon. I'm like, go, whoever is winning, go, and like I don't like posers. Like, I don't like liars. I feel like that's just the base of
Yeah.
everything. Where like I just don't like liars. So I mean, you can like something, but as long as you're not lying about how much you know about it, like I'm very open with like, yeah, I'm a big old bandwagon person. Like I'll jump on that bandwagon. But as long as that person's not coming up and saying, oh yeah, Paramore is great, better than this person, and they give you some generic reason, and then it's just like, do you actually know anything else about this?
Yeah.
Like, if you stop there, I'll be okay with it. But if you're like, yeah, name the B-side of their album before they became a Paramore, like,
yeah.
so I can.
That's too much. That's too much work. Like,
It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work for exclusivity. It's what it is.
I'm to the age now where I'm just like, man, what the fuck ever.
Well, I never cared. I feel like I've always dipped into counterculturalism in some form or fashion. So it's just like,
No, all the time.
yeah.
It's
Well,
funny though, you Joe. There was a time when you were in my car and I turned on the radio and a song came on. And you're like, "This song's on the radio."
Nobody
'cause
understood. Nobody understood that I was being facetious. Nobody understood I was being facetious.
I didn't get. I still don't believe you. I feel like you're really like, this is in my playlist. What's this doing on the radio?
Yeah, no, I was
You
being
hipster.
facetious because y'all kept calling me a hipster, so I was playing into it.
I don't believe you. I'm gonna keep on not believing you.
Okay. Like
Sure,
whenever
Joe.
the
Yeah.
Capital Cities Safe and Sound came on, and it was blowing up, and it was on the radio all the time, and this is yeah. And I was like,
Safe and
I was like,
sound.
y'all should listen to the whole album. Like, it's really good, and not just the one song. But
Yeah, I hear singles that come out and like the album's better than this.
Yeah.
Y'all know this, right?
it gets
I was talking
better.
to-
Like, I'm actively encouraging you to listen to the whole thing, not just the one.
I was
thing.
talking to Adriana, and I noticed this since we've been together or whatever. I'm starting to share more of my hobbies with her, and like not tasting music necessarily, but like I started teaching her how to play poker because she was just like, "Yeah, how do you poker?" And I was like, "Well, there's a lot that goes into it. I'm learning about defense. What is it called? DMF. I have it in one of my tabs right here. But there's minimum defense frequency is what it's called. So basically it adds, it's a little bit of math, but it adds your risk calculation. So say like the pot's 100 chips. So the equation is 100 equals 100 chips plus the bet.
Uh-huh.
And then you divide that. So in parentheses, it's the pot and the bet. Obviously you do that first based on the order of operations. And then you divide that by the actual pot, and then that turns out it's like point number. You multiply it by 100 to make it a full percentage. But that basically goes based off of if somebody you don't know, say like I'm playing Shenelle, I don't know how she plays, and she keeps bluffing me, or she's trying to bluff me. That basically allows you to figure out whether or not it's worth you to call the bluff. Way advanced stuff. So I'm just
That's a lot. Like I want to play poker, but then it's just the math of it, like, really deters me. Maybe that should be something I put on my list.
There's simple
Like,
there's simple math. There's
yeah.
simple math to it too. So like say like the first 3 cards for Texas Hold'em, not like stud poker or whatever. Your first 3 cards come out based on the 2 cards you have. Say like you have one more card you need for a straight, but you have what's called outs. You have, say like you need a jack to come out. So that's 4 jacks in the deck. And you need 2 cards left. So you would multiply that by 4. So 4 times 4, 16% chance that that jack is going to come out. 3 cards on the table, another card comes out, and it's still not a jack. Now you multiply it by 2. You have a 8% chance that jack is going to come out. That's simple math too. That's not even counting pot odds. That's not counting the defense mechanism, the thing I was just telling you about. That's not counting your position. That's not counting all kinds of things that factor into it. I'm learning the more like advanced stuff now. That's kind of what I'm putting my time towards now. It's like, yeah. But even that community is like super toxic because it's just mostly dudes that play poker, and it goes back to the gatekeeping of, oh yeah, they call them fish, like new people, rookies, whatever. But you can tell the fish is at the table if you're the one that is overanalyzing everything. Like, oh man.
I really hate those things where it's just like, oh, these guys are there, and like a lot of gatekeeping keeps women out.
Yep.
Like, there's this whole thing right now. Like, I don't really know a lot about YouTube, like, or Twitch streamers, but I do know a few, like Pokimane and Ninja, and there's this other guy, and there's this whole thing.
Ninja?
What?
No.
There's this whole thing going on where like there's just all this misogyny about her. Like, she's a gaming Twitch streamer, and there's just always all this misogyny around it. It's just like, why? Like, this, it goes back to like boys thinking they're better than girls, and then they just bring that into like life. And I know that in game, I don't want to say this, that like gamers are filled with like incels, but I feel it's
mostly
it's prevalent.
like there are a lot of incels in there, you know. It's just like, why is there this toxic thing that, like, why can't we get over this, you know? Like, let's just get past this. Because even with the sports thing and the band thing, it's always just like, yeah, you girl, you know anything about sports? Name the person that was on the 1976 roster for this sports team.
Like, you can't even name that.
Yeah,
Lion ass.
But you never see those memes or anything against men. It's always just like a girl that says something, and then the girl has to prove that she's there. You know, like, I'm lucky, like, with friends like you. Like, I guess I'm just really good at weeding out like toxic people because I've never had to experience any of that. Like, even in my work friends or my coworkers, they're not like that. Like, I work in tech, I'm a programmer, and there is also a thing with that where it's just like girls are not that great. There's this website called Stack Overflow where, like, if you have a problem, you put it on there, and then like anybody can answer it, and people who answer a lot of questions, they have like a rating or something. And sometimes when people answer questions and it's not answered in a certain way, or maybe the person's new or whatever, it'd be like, you sound like a girl, or this must be written by a woman, or some bullshit like that, you know? So it's so gatekeeping. I don't want to be the person like, oh, women are down bad or whatever, but it's like, it's just like, why? Like, get your shit together, toxic men. And see, I say toxic men.
Yeah.
All right.
It's funny, I saw this tweet from this drag queen. I can't remember the person. They're out of DFW, but they were like, "Man, misogyny seems real gay when you think about it. You just want men to control everything. Like, that's crazy." And I was like, "Oh, that's an enlightening perspective on that. I would not have thought of that."
Even think about that. Like, you go to a drag show to see a man dress up as a woman, but do you really go to drag shows to see women dress up as men? I know they're drag kings, but you don't. the people aren't like, let's go to that drag king show. It's always, let's go to the drag queen show. There is one thing that Tina Fey made a joke on SNL one time where people were like harassing trans men or whatever, and she was like, if you're in New York and you go and you harass a drag queen, it's if you take off the makeup, it's still like a 6'5" black man. So go ahead, see what happens.
It's funny that you mentioned SNL because I've been getting into this. They had their season change, so there's like a whole new slew of new writers on there, and they're fucking hitting it right now too. Like it just not everything works because I mean it's a sketch show with a bunch of sketches in it, so you're gonna miss sometimes. But man, this season has been great. A lot of people don't like it, and the people that I realize that don't like it are older people.
Talking about
because
old
it's
SNL?
not. Yeah, and guess what they're saying? Like, oh man, it's not like back in the 2000s, or man, Chris Farley, Adam Sandler were one of the best to do this and this and this. Bill Murray, you know, it's very up, but yeah, it's stuff like that, and it bothers me because why does it have to appease to you? Like they're the old person
you anymore.
Old person here, exactly. You are up here and way a ways away.
Yeah.
I'm here now. I want something that's going to be funny for me to watch. But like I get. Sorry.
No, go ahead. Sorry.
Sudeikis had this like behind the scenes thing about like how he got on SNL. It's fucking awesome too. I'll put the link to that in whenever I put this video out. But there was a thing that he was talking about like coming in like the hallowed halls of Studio 1A or whatever, and just going through this whole thing, like it's a fraternity, like it's cool to get the inside of that part of it. And then he also talked about how like it's not like it was anymore, and I had to come in and think of something different, and it's like it just keeps moving and it keeps moving and evolving. Some people would say it's not, but whatever. But yeah, that bothers me too. Like it's not for you anymore, and that's okay that it's not for you anymore. Go find something else to watch. But they're so attached to this because Sudeikis mentioned he was a kid growing up.
That's why.
Exactly.
Like with the music.
Yeah.
But even this specific thing where people are like, oh, SNL was only good when I was a kid. There's this YouTuber called Drew Gooden. He's a commentary YouTuber. And he did a video about this where he watched one episode from every season of SNL because he was getting tired of people saying this stuff. And it was just like every season of SNL is not necessarily good, you know?
Yeah.
Like Chris Farley, his season, like he was good in there, like he was the bright star, but like everyone else there wasn't that great. Adam Sandler and Jimmy Fallon and all those people, they weren't necessarily good. Like Jimmy Fallon's whole thing is breaking, like starting to laugh in it, and it's just like every season is like this where it's like there's one or two good like characters that they come up with. Maybe there's a stretch of like maybe some good shows, some good sketches, but every single season is like they're mostly misses because it is a sketch show, and like they do all of this in a week, you know. But it's like when you say, oh, it's not as good as it used to be, like if you go back and watch them, I would say like most of the season isn't good, you know.
People only remember the good parts of it because now all you get is the good parts of it.
Yeah, because
it's like a highlight reel. Like you see Russell Westbrook, for example, having a slump. Or is he? Not really. Different podcast. But he's playing the same way that he's playing, but people are like, oh man, he's just like breaking all these shots and this and this. It's only magnified now because he went from Oklahoma City Thunder to the Houston Rockets. He was on the Wizards for a little bit, and now he's in LA. It's only magnified now because you have all these eyes drawn to it. And it's like, oh, he's always been a bad player, this and this. Like, John wasn't saying anything then. It's because he was like putting the hammer down, dunking on this fool or whatever.
A volume shooter. Everyone.
This shouldn't be new to you.
But going back to like some of the gatekeeping stuff with old people, like I said earlier, the art or whatever the property is, whatever it is, doesn't belong to you. Like that's one thing people forget. Like me, whenever I teach anybody anything about whenever I was in video production or doing photography now, it's like the art form doesn't belong to us. So like whenever people are trying to hold on to like trade secrets and stuff like that to have the edge over somebody else, it's like, no, that makes the art form worse because you're willingly letting other people go out and do things crappy when you can show them how to do something better, and then the whole art form is better for it, and then it evolves. Same thing with like any creative license or any intellectual property that people like coming back into it. it has a chance to go somewhere where it hasn't. Like if it's old IP, Star Wars, for example, we mentioned briefly earlier,
Mhm.
or even some new shows that are getting their shine, or like books that are getting their shine in shows like Shadow and Bone, The Witcher, shows like that, where it's like
Mhm.
people are like, no, it's not like true to the source material. It's like movies have been like that since they've been making movies. They're not ever going to be true to the source material because you have more time with it. Like that's another thing
Yeah,
people forget. It's like
The
you have to
Bebop is the
appreciate
biggest
this.
one for me.
Yeah, like you have to appreciate this adaptation of it. That's why it's called.
an
It's called an
adaptation.
adaptation or based on whatever. Like it's not true to form one to one, which Lord of the Rings kind of gets that the director's cuts or whatever. Like they kind of get away with that because it's like they put as much of it as they could. Like
Yeah.
people just want the one to one translation. Like and then they
It's
pretty
not a
much
book.
yeah they pretty much got it for the most part. But that's why
But not
people
everyone can do. Everyone's
Yeah.
not Peter Jackson.
Exactly.
Like, oh, what's his name? What's his face? Seth Rogen was on that channel I was telling you about. I'm just realizing I watch so much YouTube now. Quarter Digital. They have these shows they do called VFX Artist React or Stuntman React. Like I've sent you some of those videos, and
Yeah.
he was on there because he watches that show and he was saying it's really cool because it gives him a vocabulary to talk to
Yeah.
his visual people. He talked to the people on set. And he was saying that like he would love to do things with miniatures more. He would love to like have really good VFX, but like everyone is not Quentin Tarantino, you know? Like
Yeah.
even he's Seth Rogen. He's not like some nobody. But studios aren't gonna give him as much money as like what's his name? No, the dude that did the Dark Knight stuff. Like
Christopher Nolan.
Christopher Nolan, he used a bunch of miniatures. Like this is a very specific thing, but it's just like everyone's not gonna get the same thing. They don't get the same treatment. There's still like a hierarchy.
Seth Rogen, I will say,
Mhm.
a fucking great producer. He
Mhm.
brought Preacher to life, and that's
Mhm.
the season. The first season is what happens before the books actually take place. So a lot of people are like, "Oh man, it's a slow roll on this one," and then it just like gets as fucking wild as the books do in season 2 and on.
Cool.
But yeah, he's a fantastic producer. He knows what it takes to get the right people in the right positions, and
Yeah.
people
And
just
listen to people.
yeah, and that's the best part of what he does too. Is he actually gets everybody involved, similar to Issa Rage. He gets the people
Yeah.
in the space, like you know what's up. You can
Yeah.
tell me what's up because I don't know everything.
Yeah. Like Lin-Manuel, I don't know if you know the new movie that came out, Tick Tick Boom.
Oh, I want to see
Like
that still.
it's so good. All right. And it was like a passion project for him. But Andrew Garfield was talking about like what it's like to work with him. And everybody is always saying about Lin-Manuel Miranda, like he just loves talent. Like he likes to just get people who knows what they're doing, just put them together, and like he'll tell them what he wants. He's not like a pushover, but like there's this one scene in the movie where Jonathan Larson, the person it's about, he was swimming, and like he had some ideas for shots because he directed this. He didn't write music or anything. But this is a Jonathan Larson. The guy who wrote Rent. This is about him, and it's a one-man play that he brought to life. And the DP he had is he was just like, hey, so what can you do with this? And he's like, oh, I can actually do these really cool water shots. And it got in the pool. There's a scene where he figures out a song and like he brushes his hand over like one of the things in the pool and it turns into a treble clef, and then you see all these notes come up. But it's just like if you didn't talk to that person and be like, hey, what is it that you can do? What cool shit do you know?
Yeah.
Like you wouldn't have gotten that, you know? And that's why like this might be completely different, but like that whole thing with Martin Scorsese where he's like superhero movies aren't movies, like
yeah.
he's fucking gatekeeping. It's just like
Yeah.
just let people do what they're doing, you know? Don't go and say like this is not that. This
Yeah.
is not what it's supposed to be. Like what he's doing is not what they were doing back in the day. You know, let's let people that have the talent just go and do what they're gonna do. Maybe it's not something that you like, but again, it's not for you.
Also,
He
don't be
basically-
mad. Don't be mad. Your movies go straight to Netflix, like The Irishman. Come on. Now.
But like that's not necessarily a bad thing. You
It's
know?
not.
I don't
No, it
need
is
to
for
watch.
Him. It is for him. He's the,
Yeah, well, because he basically it turned into the old head that he didn't want to be because he was doing all these things that Taxi Driver is one of his
That's a good
one of his movies. He was doing stuff progressively that nobody has done before, and had people telling him like, "Oh no, you can't do that. Like it's too edgy, it's too risque, or whatever."
It's like
And now he's the dude that's doing all of that shit.
Yeah, I hate that, man. Because like, what's wrong with Netflix being on Netflix? I hate that. I'm not saying I hate that man. I'm saying I hate that, comma,
it went straight
man.
To, it went
I'll
straight
tell you-
to-
I'll tell
it
you
went straight
this,
to DVD, fool.
If I ended up writing something and
on Netflix.
anybody picked it up, I'm like,
Yeah.
oh shit, Danny Fernandez actually said something like that too, because she deals a lot with assholes just trying to tell her like, no, this is the thing that this is how comedy should be written, or women shouldn't be
Another thing.
like this or whatever. She's like, fuck all that. Like, I'm doing the shit I want to do.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter where it ends up. I get to see it somewhere. It could be on Sci-Fi.
People get to see it.
Yeah, I can see it on. They can watch it on Sci-Fi. It gets out on Netflix. It's on Max. Whatever. As long as somebody is able to see what we decided to do creatively with it, that's something that we've been wanting to put our efforts into. Somebody else finds it. Oh yeah, it's inspiring to me. They already did their job. That's exactly what it's for.
That's one thing I love about YouTube. It's just democratizing this whole thing. Like, what's the name of that show? Cobra Kai started on YouTube. I just watched like the 4th season. I'd never watched any other season. I went to see Lee and Casey, my friends, and in another. You guys don't even know who they are. But like I went over there and they're like, you need to watch this show. It's got like roving gangs of kung fu kids. And it's like, what are you talking about? So I was watching this show and it's like, this started out on YouTube and then Netflix like saw how good it was and took it and then threw Netflix money at it, you know? But it's still like as good as it was on, like they started on YouTube doing whatever they wanted to do. No one gatekeeping nothing. Like that's the thing about YouTube. There's no gatekeeping on YouTube. You just do whatever you want to do.
There's still assholes, but yeah, there's no one stopping you from doing that there.
But because he doesn't understand it, you know?
Yeah.
It's like everyone has it in their, like, it's not a bad thing. Everyone has it in front of them. Like to him, it's like going straight to DVD.
Yeah.
But it's not. Like that's where we're going. Before I remember at the Oscars one time, they're like, we're gonna have Netflix things on the Oscars. It's like, so what if it's in a streaming format? They're still good movies.
Yeah.
You know? I think Tina Fey made a joke about it, like, oh, Netflix movies are nominated. What now? My Microwave's gonna make a movie, and it's just
That's
like, no,
whack.
it's just, she was like joking about how stupid it was because it's just like the content isn't bad. It's just that it's on this platform that you get to watch it. Not everything needs to be seen in a movie theater. Like
I saw,
that,
like a bunch of shows we watched too were on like Amazon Prime and stuff like that. Like what was it? 11/22/68 or whatever it was. The JFK. It's a book based on JFK. The guy can time travel and he's trying to change that.
oh,
We watched that and then we watched.
Hang on. Just change that.
that one thing. Forget Hitler. You know. Forget
Yeah.
Well, he wasn't able to go.
Slavery.
He wasn't able to go further back. He found it by accident that he was being transported to that time. Yeah, he didn't get to pick. That show and oh crap, The Man in the High Castle was another show.
Yeah.
That show was dope.
I didn't finish watching it. The
It's
same
good.
thing that happened to me happened. I got bored.
I feel like you can't have a fully fleshed out perspective on a lot of these things, and you're just like.
Like
Hey, it still brings enough to the table.
it was good the season I watched, but it's just like, let's go, come on.
Why? Why? When? Why? That's part. Like
It's just
I
like
love,
her in D&D.
I love exposition and like.
I want to cut heads
conversations.
off. I just want to cut heads off.
And also argue with you, John. I feel like D&D is just arguing with you and stabbing.
Y'all argue the most.
You argue with me.
You are an asshole. Your character is an asshole.
I go about my business. That's all I care about is my
character
business.
talks down to everyone,
Yeah,
and I'm
he
not gonna
talks
let you do it. Okay,
As he should.
But
asshole.
but yeah, it's like shows like that. I feel like wouldn't have got their shine if they hadn't been on any other thing, any other platform. They would not have been able to probably. And then
Like
the
if they
fact
had to
that,
go through CBS or something.
yeah, the fact that like Amazon like picked them up.
Who wants to
and
be
all-
on a network anymore?
Yeah, it's like I remember I was watching the Cowboys game last week, and like the commercials because it was on CBS, right? Yeah, so like they have commercials for these weird freaking shows. It's like Young Sheldon's on and like Neighbors and just a bunch of weird shows. It's like who watches these shows? Like
I'll
and then
say- I'll say
CBS
this.
is powered by old people, so like
Yeah.
they're watching these.
I'll say this. It's safe. Network television is safe.
Yeah.
That's why NBC is like the butt of the joke when it comes to having new shows on and they barely last half a season or a full season. They don't get picked up again.
Yeah.
And it's
Blind
because
Spot lasted 5 seasons. How did that happen?
Manifest started on NBC and now it's a Netflix show.
Yeah.
That's a really interesting show too. But the idea is just so weird and so out there for some people. It's just like it's not safe for network television now. which is why a lot of these creators end up going to
It's
Netflix
it's
and
Or
wild.
HBO. Like
yeah,
HBO,
HBO mostly.
I feel like HBO was Netflix before Netflix.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like they just didn't have the streaming service.
Yeah,
But
I
like
think
they were all about weird shit before.
the way I mean they did pioneer a lot of stuff, like
Mhm.
not like in leaps and bounds, but they were able to break ground on a lot of different types of programming, which is why
Like The Wire.
yeah.
Gosh, I love that show.
Yeah.
Real sex, all of it.
Yeah, I mean, when I was a kid and I was supposed to be watching TV at 11, I was watching Real Sex with the volume
Shoot,
turned
oh.
down.
You had the
Cartoon Network.
you had
Cartoon
the
Network
recall, you
actually.
had the recall button ready to change it to another channel.
We're gonna go back to Nickelodeon, but it's Nick
Yeah.
at Night, so it's like old like TV
like, I'm
shows.
watching
That is
I Love
one
Lucy. I don't-
thing that like kids lose with like having so much choice though. Because
Yep.
like if it wasn't for Nick at Night, I would never know about Happy Days and I Love Lucy and all these like really great old shows. Like they were from the 50s and the 60s, and I would like wait to watch like Wonder Years and
Yeah.
all that when I was a
think
kid.
I think we were talking about this in our group chat a few days ago, where we were talking about like old movies and stuff like Turner
Mhm.
Classic Movies. Like I love that channel. Like it
Yeah.
seems weird, and like the movie collection that we have that we were building has a lot of old movies in it, and I was like, man. Like I like that I can see where like cinema, some of the movies were like cinema started and then you go from
Yeah.
there. It's like or like they were the golden age,
You're watching the talkies, eh?
Like I would never have watched Golden Girls if it wasn't for like Nick at Night and like the
Is that
Lifetime
where that was?
channel. I think it was Lifetime.
Lifetime mostly,
Yeah.
primarily.
But like that is something that I really hate that like kids these days are gonna lose. The fact that like you just sit down, you turn on the TV, and you see what's going on. Like maybe
Yeah.
you flip to Lifetime, and Rose says something about being from that weird place she was from, and it makes you laugh. It's like, oh, this show seems kind of funny, and then
Yeah.
you watch all of Golden Girls. You know?
And then now you're singing the theme song with your friends.
Yeah. Oh,
What's funny is that
yeah.
there's
Very
there's
clear
a
that you can't sing it. Sorry.
What's funny is that on Roku there's actually a free channel that you can have, and it has its own guide and it has
Yeah.
its own cluster of channel listings. There's like a gaming cluster with like 5 or 6 different gaming channels. There's a classics with all the old shows for like
Yeah.
comedy. There's like drama. There's sports on there too. Like Impact Wrestling is on there. All the poker things that I like to watch just to decompress, they're all on there. There's just like all this stuff that's immediately available to you, but it's just so diluted now.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's too much of everything. But you see, it's like you have to find that balance. Like sometimes you don't need choice. And I hate saying that, but it's just like, well, maybe I shouldn't say it like that. Maybe it's like we have way too much choice.
No, you're right.
You know?
There's
Like,
a book I read a few years ago called The Paradox of Choice, and it was saying that exactly like just in the supermarket, for example, you're buying stuff. You're trying to buy one type of cereal or something like that, and you look, and there's like several types of it, and also several brands, like different things. So that increase in choice, on average, adds to people's shopping time. I think they said something like 40 minutes, 30 or 40 minutes of shopping
Yeah.
time on average, just for like the one particular thing, let
Yeah.
alone everything else that you have to buy. So like over your lifetime, you say you shop once a week or like once every 2 weeks. That 40 minutes adds up to a lot of time spent on like just that
staring.
just that one variable, and where you're trying to find something like that. So I couldn't even imagine like if you have all the streaming services and even access to YouTube, because there's so many different things there. It's like there's a paralysis that happens, and why some shows have found a second life, and then again you run into the gatekeepers there, where it's like, oh, you weren't around when the show was like on network television.
God.
Yeah, it's like shows like The Office or Friends or anything like that have
Yeah.
gotten a second life on streaming services because of the paralysis of choice. People were like,
Yeah,
I
would
don't know
I
what
will
to
sit
watch.
and watch
I'm gonna put
Friends
this on. Yeah,
more than
exactly.
anything.
Yeah.
Because like and also it has to do with my anxiety. Like I feel really bad about this, but like I know that Insecure just ended. But like I have this real bad anxiety.
You're watching it again.
I haven't finished watching the last season.
What?
I know, that's what I'm saying. I feel really bad, so don't tell me anything. But like this weird thing where I feel embarrassed for people on TV.
Secondhand information.
Yeah, and there's this one part where I think I stopped watching when she responded to that dude who was all upset with her, the fashion guy. She
Oh,
responded. Yeah.
Crenshaw.
Yeah, she responded, and her assistant was like, "What are you doing?" And then all these people like message her, and
Blew up.
I turned it off because I need
You
to
were
know
just
what
like,
happened. Like, what are you doing, Issa? Because I feel like I relate to that character so much. It's like, oh shit, Shenelle, what are you doing? You
She's
know,
like,
like
what was her original series? Her original series on
an
YouTube.
awkward black girl.
Yeah,
Like
there you go.
that's the thing. No gatekeeping on that. YouTube, she filmed a thing. She didn't know how audio worked. She barely knew how to shoot something. She knew she could write.
Yeah.
And she wrote this thing and she got some people, her friends, and she put it on YouTube. And I think it was like Pharrell like saw it and like messaged her about it or something. It was just like, hey, you're doing really good with this. And then she gets to go and talk to the people at HBO, and I think she was like,
HBO sees it. They picked it up. They actually have like a behind the scenes of how the whole series got started and like, from where it was and then where it ended.
And I think
you need to watch that after you finish the fucking series.
I want every time I'm just like, what am I gonna watch? I could watch this, but Issa did something, and it's like, how did I get through the first 4 seasons? She's awkward during the whole of it. But I don't know. Like, I feel like I've just like
I related more to Lawrence.
You're a Lawrence stan.
Let me finish. After the first season, because I wasn't just some dude on the couch. To that degree, like that was bad for him.
But like he was in a real down spiral during that. But he got his life together, and JR
also no STDs.
Good looking.
That's how I can't relate to Lawrence. I was Team Lawrence, and then it shifts. I can't tell you when it shifts, but
watch the show, find out.
That'll be.
But like back to what we were talking about though, it's like it's perfect. Like she had this thing she knew how to do. She filmed it, she put it on YouTube, people liked it, and then she got her shot.
I think what was cool about how she did it too is that she allowed people to be into that space. It was like, yeah, okay, the network is supposed to let us have, or we're supposed to have white people on the show to be involved, whatever. But she had more creative control being a successful series at that, especially after it got picked up after the first season.
Yeah.
It started bringing people in that were trying to get into this similar space, and she knew exactly what it was like to be.
She's not closing the door behind her.
Yeah, you're good, but, and then she allowed to say, no, you're good. Get in here.
I think it kind of sucks with shows that are considered for the culture like that, like shows like that or like Atlanta. It's like you can't prevent people from bogarting it in some form or fashion, so they can't gatekeep. Like those types of creators physically can't do that. Like they can't create that barrier because it's going to be bogarted from them in some form or fashion anyway. So they're just like, yeah, we're going to make this show and everyone's going to watch it because that's how anything that's made for the culture has been since the dawn of, you know, even like whenever, what do they say? Like hip hop shows. It's not just a bunch of black people at hip hop shows. It's like a bunch of college kids, white kids, like out here singing all the bangers.
It's like, all the white kids at the Drake shows and the Kanye shows.
Yeah. So it's like,
hey, Drake makes him feel safe because he's not that black.
Yeah, he's half. He's half.
He's not DJ Max.
He grew up in Canada. He was on Degrassi. Like he's not hard enough. He's not like Chingy.
Yeah. So those kids got shoehorned in from Degrassi. Yeah. They're like, oh, okay, cool. We're
what was his name in Degrassi?
I couldn't tell you.
I never watched
Degrassi either. Yeah.
But yeah, I think some of those shows, we wouldn't have shows like that either because of the fact that they don't actively choose to like put this barrier up for. There's no barrier for entry for shows like that. It's just like we're gonna make it, whether y'all want us to make it or not, and then it just kind of goes from there, kind of thing.
Well, it's even the same with Star Wars too. Going back to those nerds, you had the creator that had just been a writer on it for the longest time. Finally made his way into like a head of creative development type position, who allowed that universe to expand more, even with if it was Clone Wars or Rebels or a combination of both. Actually, it allowed that IP to go into a different direction because they understood the source and what made Star Wars, and just kind of elevated it a little bit more.
Yeah.
I will say, like, this is not Star Wars. I'm going to flip to Marvel, where it's just like, sometimes I'm cool with the gatekeeping. But it's kind of like the thing where, you know, where if a guy hits on a girl, if he's ugly, she'll be like, oh, it's harassment. But if he's really hot, you'll be like, oh, it's flirting. You know, it's the same thing with this, where like Kevin Feige actually, like, I am fine with him gatekeeping the shit out of Marvel. Like,
Yeah.
keep doing what you're doing. It's just because he cares about the source material and all of that, you know, as opposed to whatever Sony's doing. They're gatekeeping. Like,
Oh.
they're not gonna make a goddamn movie, Jesus. But like,
I think
DC's in the same boat too. They don't know what they're doing. It's because
but they're gonna
they're-
keep doing what they think is right.
they're chasing is what is kind of put them into that position. They got Jeff Johns who used to write and be a I forgot what his title was at DC, but he was in charge of a lot of shit.
DC, Jesus Christ.
But they're playing catch up, and it's because I know Marvel hasn't done things 100% the way that they should be,
Yeah.
because you've had directors changing in, creative teams going in and out, but they understood the vision of what they
Yeah,
wanted to do.
it's because there's one person in charge, and it's just like that. In situations like that, I'm like, okay, yeah, you need a gatekeeper.
That's
Like,
like a
I don't need
unified,
I don't need somebody's weird like interpretation of Batman. You know, I don't need like, this is Batman. He's been Batman for like 60 fucking years. Let's give me Batman. All right, I don't need like I don't know. Because at the same time, I'm kind of like, yeah, I want that person. Maybe he's gonna make a cool version of it. So I'm like, I'm tossed. Because it's just like, I know that there's this like anime version of Batman where he's like a ninja or something. It's on
Samurai,
yeah, and it's just like that space should be there for them to do that. But I guess like in certain spaces, I'm just like, don't change Batman. You know, like if you want to do something weird, and this is just a generic example, me using Batman. Just like, if this thing exists, do it the way we want it to be done.
Yeah.
So like, I'm really torn on the gatekeeping thing.
no,
In
I
some
think that's
cases, I need it.
That's a good point in Feige's presentation of that, because it creates a unified vision for everything, which is good. But also, even with that, it doesn't really seem like gatekeeping per se. But even with him, you know, everything has to go through him, kind of thing. They've been able to do some more wild or outlandish
But not
stuff.
really. Like, if you gave Taika Waititi like actual free reign on Thor Ragnarok, like that would have been a.
It's gonna look like
different movie.
Jojo Rabbit.
No, they like, everyone was like, it was so different from the other Thor movies, like almost a complete departure. Like even with him overseeing everything, you would not have been able to do something like that, or even like the What If series, or some of the stuff they did in the shows. Even like they've expanded to more of the comic book realm in terms of like giving us stories from the comic books, and things are starting to get more weird and more crazy, and that's good because
I think that's what's cool. Sorry, go ahead.
No.
well, I was saying that's good because you get those tie-ins from the comics. Like he wants some stuff to be true to form, some things you got to adapt, obviously, but like they're starting to be able to veer into that instead of just like because everyone loved the Spider-Verse stuff. Whenever.
Oh yeah, that was easily one of the
And
best
that's
Marvel
because
things.
Sony left them alone.
Yeah.
Sony executives just need to leave people alone. Sorry, continue.
No,
It goes back to the risk aversion thing, is what it is. It's like, do we want to have something that's kind of weird? Comic books are already weird enough, man.
Why don't
It
they
sucks.
understand that people like weird shit?
yeah, and that's what happens when you tie capitalism to creativity. It's like you're gonna hamstring the art form in some form or
Exactly.
fashion, which
Like, DCEU sucks, but like the DC animated movies, I watch them all the time.
Yeah.
They're not always the best because, like, you know, it's people still doing stuff, but like it's because Sony and WB leaves them alone and they just do what they're gonna do, and it's just like, I am perfectly fine with that. I can watch a mediocre movie because a lot more often than not, they're not mediocre. You know, it's just like, and I get with cartoons you can do a lot more because the art form, but it's just like, I get that there's more money involved in live action. I get that, but do they really not understand that, like, yeah, I get you're an executive, but like, just fuck off. Man, I'm so upset because I did not care about Marvel growing up. I knew about Spider-Man because every person knows about Spider-Man.
Yeah.
I knew about X-Men. I didn't even know X-Men and Spider-Man were in the same universe. I just knew the X-Men cartoon existed. And I knew that Spider-Man was a thing because of Tobey Maguire.
Yeah.
But like Batman and Superman and Wonder Woman, like they were my characters, and then DC just shats all over it.
Oh crap! You just crap. I was gonna trying to remember what I was gonna say. You had,
Oh, I'm sorry.
you made me remember something right before you said that.
Was it about shit?
No, it was before that. Crap! Dang it! I can't remember.
Was
it about Spider-Man
being
being-
left them alone?
Nope.
Was it about-
forgot. Crap.
Was it
I'm
about someone
sorry.
being super recognizable because Spider-Man's the face of Marvel?
No,
people
it'll
tend
come
to
to me
do
at some point, I'm sure.
I'm sorry.
Oh,
Just always
well.
ranting about.
Who's okay? Real quick, who's the worst fandom that you can think of?
That's
like off the top of
subjective.
your head?
That's like art. It's
Yeah.
subjective.
The thing is, like, I like a lot of things, but I'm not in enough things to be like, oh, this fandom is this way. Because I'm not like on the forums talking to other fans about something. I just like a thing, and
Yeah.
it's fine, you know.
I think my exposure to it, I think Star Wars fans are the worst.
Yeah.
They just happen to. There just happens to be more of them. I think is what it is. Like, Star Wars has been around so long. It spans so many decades. You're gonna hear the most from them. I think because there's.
Oh,
more.
I had a point about that. Travis was talking about how you went from one Mandalorian out of this giant fucking universe as big as my frame, and you went this far.
Yep.
And it's like-
Barely- yeah.
It's like you had all of this space to play with, and you just went to another Mandalorian.
From one pinpoint in the galaxy. to
'Cause it
the
works.
pinpoint right next to it.
Yeah, and I was talking to him about it, and I was like, they're playing it safe. Is
Yeah,
what
it
is.
works. They like money.
Star Wars found something that worked, and it was like, oh, okay, everyone liked the Mandalorian. Everyone loved the Mandalorian. Let's not stray too far from that formula,
It's
and
be-
we'll still be
it's
okay.
because some of the stuff they did was different. It had nothing to do with like the up until the second season. Spoiler alert here. Like it had nothing to do with like the Skywalker trilogy or anything. It had nothing to do with them, which is why I liked it a lot. Obviously, there's a little bit of a tie into that now, but even with that, I don't feel like the Mandalorian. They shouldn't in the third season lean too heavily on that because now he has no connection other than like Grogu's over there now. What am I doing over here? Like, hopefully they don't. Like, it's not
He's
all,
helping
like,
Bo-Katan. That's what he's doing.
yeah, hopefully it's not like all. Well, they allude to that in Boba Fett. This last episode, I don't know if you had seen it, but
I have no interest in. Yeah.
That's all I heard
Yeah.
a while ago. Sorry, guys.
no, you're good. But yeah. Either. Oh, I just remembered what I was going to talk about in terms of like fandoms and executives like backing off when they should and not leaning in. Avatar: The Last Airbender. That show was able to thrive and succeed.
Yeah.
Because and then it sucks what they did to The Legend of Korra. That was an overstepping.
What was
of,
why? I love Legend of Korra. What
I-
was everyone's problem with that?
Well, they cut it short, which is what the problem.
Oh,
was.
that's what you're talking.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
yeah, on Nickelodeon, there were only
Yeah.
like 6 episodes or something. That was pretty annoying.
Yeah, that sucks because they could have they had such a good story with The Legend of Korra. I like
Yeah, and a lot of people hate the Legend of Korra.
I don't understand that. That's
Mm.
again, it's the gatekeeping of it. It's like, yeah, we were around OGs when Avatar was around, and the main character was a man, and now it's a woman. And
Is that why?
The main
That's
character was-
why.
she's
character
stronger
was a
than me,
boy.
and sexy, and has muscles, and I'm not. Like,
I
what are you talking about?
will say Korra is a hot cartoon.
Oh, man. I talked with the lady I used to work with. She was a news producer. She was like, "Oh man, if you know someone I fell in love with, it was Robin Hood." I was like, "The Fox?"
The
She was like, she's like, "He just had it. Like he just had everything. He was
Had the
charismatic.
swag.
Confidence is very sexy.
He was
Yeah.
a handsome fox."
There's a reason why he call a handsome person a fox.
yeah, exactly.
Because they are a handsome animal.
That makes sense now.
Mm.
You don't call people moles for sure.
Yeah,
that's for
you're
sure.
a handsome.
That's why mole. That's why mole has a negative connotation.
Yeah, you are a sexy rat.
You are a sexy hippo.
Oh, God. A minx.
Oh,
See,
man.
that's a step up. Sexy rat right there. See, there you go.
Sexy rat.
I think rats are cute.
Rats
like
are awesome.
Yeah.
It sucks. Like they're highly intelligent. They're agile. They're
That
resourceful.
I mean, that thing pulled a whole pizza up a stairs.
I like
Those
the-
rats are not cute.
I like
but
the
rats in general are.
Halloween costume the guy had. He was going to the subway with a giant pizza dressed in a rat costume, and he was all hobbling down the stairs.
That's perfect.
It was amazing. It's like, yeah,
Oh,
that's New
man.
York. That's New York City right there.
I had a quick assignment that I wanted to do for us, bringing up nicknames. I didn't privy Shenelle to this. I told her about it, but
Yeah.
since
This
all
is the
three
first
of
time
us,
hearing of it too. So
I put it in the group chat.
I'm not in that group chat.
She's not in that group chat, and she knows about this.
I don't remember
Well,
this.
The assignment was to make a nickname for each
I
other.
also didn't do the assignment.
Oh,
Whoops.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
I didn't
We'll
know
bring
when
that on.
this.
We'll bring that up next time.
I didn't know when this was due, so
You still need to pick your movie club, by the way.
I already picked it. It's the Ghost in the Shell.
Movie club?
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Y'all need to watch it because I already.
Y'all
have
need to put me in this group chat so I know
So I
what
think,
you're talking about.
I think I'll add you to Fun Day. But so movie club is coming back this year. Joe has the first one to kick off the year. I don't know who's next in the order. We'll fucking figure it
It's
out.
in the- it's in the
Basically, movie club is we all watch the movie and then we do a podcast that has topics listed for it, and then this movie club. People watch
Cool.
it with us. Whatever. So since we're able to do it on Discord now, Brian actually was the one that tested that with us, and since we can all actually watch it at the same time, we'll create a Discord group for everybody that wants to jump in with us, and we can just fuck around and watch the movie.
Are you talking about the Scarlett Johansson one?
No.
Okay. I wasn't making a joke. But
The only problem I had with
I've
that,
never watched any Ghost in the Shell.
not gatekeeping that anime, but the only problem I had with that was Scarlett Johansson.
That's not gatekeeping. Maybe it is, but like I feel like with Kevin Feige, sometimes there's good gatekeeping. Like she doesn't understand the whole thing as to why she can't play these characters. And I mean, like, how has it not been explained to her? I mean, I just don't get, like, I understand where she's coming from. It's like, I'm an actor, I should be able to play what I want, but it's just like, okay, but if you're playing the roles that all these other people don't get to play, you get to play whatever you want. These people don't get to even play what they're supposed to play. That's why it's like, it's that simple.
Major
Bebop
Motoko Kusanagi, set in the future in Japan. It's like,
and Japan is like Korea. It's a very homogenous place. Like
yes, yes. Even in the future, the anime, like people still have like Japanese features and what have you. Like it's
Bebop was the only thing that you can kind of pull to where, because at that point,
that was everywhere.
Yeah.
At that point in the world, everyone's just kind of meshed together.
There was
and you have
very diverse.
You have cultures that are different, not in just regions on the planet. You have cultures that are different on planets.
Yep.
So Spike being a white dude, it wouldn't have bothered me.
Yeah.
I do like John Cho as Spike a lot.
It's like John Cho in general. That's like...
yeah, he's awesome.
Everyone in that show was cast perfectly, I think.
Yeah.
A lot of people just hated it because it wasn't what they remembered it being.
Again, a one-to-one translation. It's like if you want that, that's what the anime's for.
My thing is like
you mentioned, John. You mentioned fandoms that seem to be the worst. I feel like anime fans are pretty high up there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you have
with
to.
any adaptation. First of all, I don't know that a lot of anime needs to be adapted.
Yeah,
to live.
it doesn't. Like I don't need any. I did not need that.
That's a Western. That's a Western thing for sure.
Oh shit! What is it called?
Attack on Titan.
Bleach.
No, I didn't need that neither. It was pretty fun to watch. Death Note. Did not need the Netflix Death Note. And I've seen the Japanese live action Death Note too. Didn't really need that.
That's what I'm saying. No anime needs a live adaptation of anything. Although Lakeith Stanfield was awesome.
I was about to say that.
He's just in general awesome. It's just in the same way that John Cho is just awesome.
Yeah.
Like in The Harder They Fall, he's just so cool.
I know.
Everything he's in, he's just fucking money.
And he died so cool in that.
Well, I haven't seen it, so.
Oh, sorry. Oh my god, I'm sorry, but still, like when you watch it, you'll see it that time. But like, listen, that whole thing, that move. He's just like, I'm gone.
Shenelle was like, I knew exactly what you were doing.
I'm just gonna say that the whole like. Everything together, the music that sets the tone. And I was reading some reviews about it, and people are just like, "There's none of this music in a Western." Like it's reggae music they used to set the tone. And it's so perfect. Reggae and hip hop meshed together.
Well, a lot of people get mad too when like Mortal Kombat 11 came out, and there was a hip hop track that was to the trailer. It's like that doesn't even fucking make sense. Like, why is Wiz Khalifa even on here? Like. What do you want? Like white metal?
Did techno make sense? Because the 90s version was like
that actually wasn't an official thing. Like they sampled the commercial where the guy yells Mortal Kombat. They sampled that, and then they sampled the who is it? Shang Tsung, who does the voice in the first game. They sampled both of those things and made it into that, and that's where like it blew up even more in popularity. Mortal Kombat did, which the fact that it was already awesome to begin with. But
Also, around the time it came out, it was like everyone was club heavy, techno heavy,
Yeah,
house
like hip hop
heavy.
is the culture.
yeah,
So that's why it had hip hop. Like he talked to this might be bad for me to say, but like
Jack Harlow, don't get it.
you don't get it?
I don't get it.
who's
He's
that?
not a bad rapper. He's the white guy on that Industry Baby song. You've never seen that song?
Nope.
That's why I call you a hipster. How have you not heard that song? The
I
Lil
don't
Nas
listen to
X
dudes
song.
like Jack Harlow.
It's a little.
I don't listen to
Nas
Jack
X song.
Harlow either, but I'm like, man, he didn't need to be a thing. But he's the thing.
Him,
He's fine.
Macklemore.
I like the Macklemore songs. They were pop. He shouldn't have won any rap albums. But
That was fucking
Yeah,
egregious.
Exactly.
Beating out
they're
Kendrick Lamar.
gatekeeper.
Fuck that.
Fucking Grammys. That's why people like Drake and all these people are like, fuck the Grammys.
Yeah,
Because
well,
like
award show in general because it's
Yeah.
by a select few that gets.
Also,
picked.
you're having awards for art to put value to art. If art is
Well,
subjective, then what's the fucking
It doesn't
point?
matter because since art has been around, there's always been a way to make it a commodity.
and also when people win those things, they get more money. Like the
Yeah.
reason why they have all those Oscars campaigns is because the films make more money after they win an Oscar.
Yeah, people that specifically watch award-winning films for that reason, like, oh, these
Yeah,
are
I
the-
used to be that person.
Yeah. See, so like,
I was-
oh, this
like-
one won best whatever. I need to see this. Kind of
There was a-
Midsommar, never gonna watch it.
Oh God, you should though. Why? Why are you never gonna watch it?
It's too white
the
for me.
hype-
It's too
the hype-
weird.
Oh,
Oh, it's based in Scandinavia. It's like the whitest place on earth. It's
It's the
white.
whitest place you can go.
Watch the movie. It's a good movie.
No,
like
It just didn't have the appeal to me like other A24 movies did.
yeah, but like I think you should watch it.
Ingrid Goes West, fucking awesome. Wild ass
Couldn't
movie.
finish
too.
that movie.
It's crazy.
Aubrey Plaza is just it's a little too like she's so real and weird. Or it's just like I felt like if I met her, she'd be that person. It's just
she
like,
definitely.
That's why.
is
That's
that
why I
person.
love her.
yeah.
She
That's why I
did-
love
I
her.
remember watching
I
some
liked her-
interviews of her
yeah.
on Conan, and she's
Mhm.
just like, "Oh man, she'll make you the cringe content you're looking to avoid. Don't
Yeah.
watch these."
It's hard, but she's a good actor for sure. Like but you should watch Midsommar. Like it's a white
All right,
movie.
all right.
It's
I'll give
based-
it a chance.
That's gonna be my movie. It's gonna freak you the fuck out. It's
Okay.
It's a whole.
Well, I'll save it for movie club because also what goes into movie club is like if most of us haven't seen it, then
Mhm.
we watch it. But
Yeah.
Ghost in the Shell, like we're all gonna see it anyway. Who cares? We watched The Matrix the other time. That's
Yeah.
fine.
Did y'all
I
watch?
was
I was gonna ask if y'all watched the last one. Of course you watched it.
Yeah,
Hell yeah.
I liked it.
Oh
I
well,
know-
that's part of why I had the topic today
Yeah.
for like gatekeeping and stuff is because a lot of people didn't like it. I
didn't
like.
like it.
I
I
liked
didn't. It was unnecessary, and Lana knew it was unnecessary. That's why she
Yeah.
put in the movie that WP was like, they're gonna make it without you.
That's the
It's just
that's the
like-
part I liked the most because it was. I don't
Very
need,
meta. Very meta.
Yeah, I don't
didn't
need
need it.
like meta commentary with certain movies and all that, but they were justified in like, yes, that's something that needs to be said because it's like people were missing the point on that. People were looking more for like, oh, what's gonna happen? Neo has powers and then he lost them, and
But
is
I
he
want
crazy
to
or is he
know-
not? Yeah,
But
yeah.
like that's the thing. That's the story. Like I want the story to matter. This did not matter. This was not necessary. I didn't need this. They ended the story back in
Yes.
whenever the last one.
yeah,
Like, I just didn't need it.
I agree with that. I was like, they didn't need to make a fourth one.
Like I
But
know
the fact
why
that they
they
were
did.
able, the fact that they were able to put how they felt about WB doing it, regardless, like the fact that they were able to get that in there, it's crazy to me. But also, like, it needed to be said because there was another article I had read the other day about like what are people looking for in movies? Because like after Spider-Man,
Send me that
came out-
article because that sounds like
yeah,
a good read.
after Spider-Man came out,
We'll put it in
people-
the link when we post video.
yeah, after Spider-Man came out, that article came out too. It's like, what are people looking for exactly? Because Spider-Man had all this nostalgia tied into it, and then it also was taking a step forward with like stuff like Doctor Strange, like the multiverse and stuff like that. So it's like, what are people looking for exactly? And one of the points they mentioned was like the fact that the MCU has been able to be a mainstay for like the last 10 years is because it ties in these nostalgia feelings with something new and hasn't been done before, which not. If a company is able to, they struck gold. Like if a company is able to put both of those things together and make it last as long as the MCU has lasted
Yeah.
right now, it's like that's an incredible feat. But people don't see that in more cinema now. People expect trilogies or you know.
I feel like it's because like all of the people that are making everything, they're our age. Like
Yeah.
we're in charge basically
Yeah.
of all
goddamn right.
the media. Basically, everyone our age is in charge, and we're just like, oh, I miss all the shit from back then, so let's just make more of this shit. Like, why
Yeah.
is there a How Did I Meet Your Father? Like,
Ugh.
Oh
like
no, yeah. I
it's
remember.
just like I didn't need a Black Wonder Years. I'm glad it exists. Good for the people who are gonna watch it. But like I get that's mostly because I liked Wonder Years, but I didn't love it enough. I'm sure if I watched it, I'd
Yeah.
probably be about it. But it's just like let's get some new stuff.
I
you know?
agree with that. Shows like on a lot of Latin shows got
Mm-hmm.
canceled on like Netflix and Hulu and stuff. Like Hintified was
Mhm.
one of the shows that was on there. It got canceled. They were like, yeah, it's just not doing numbers like it used to, and then they just decided to get rid of it. It was like
One Day at a Time was like
Yeah.
the most egregious
that was
thing.
such
Yeah.
a nice, like it was such a cute show. Like
And they-
so,
It worked. It used the sitcom format,
Yeah.
but it made it better.
yeah.
like I
think.
really liked that show. It
It
was
didn't like
so
redefine
quirky.
it. It wasn't world changing. It was
Just
it was
good.
the same, but it was different at
Yeah.
the same time.
And I
Mm.
think shows like that, it's like y'all were saying about going to streaming in any form or fashion. Shows like that wouldn't have had a chance, or like whenever everyone was bugging out about Squid Game.
Yeah.
Like that wouldn't have been made in any other form or fashion. The fact that it got its shine, like that's awesome. People
Yeah.
want new stuff or weird stuff or different things, and I think
Yeah.
that streaming, as it sucks as much variety as there is, and there's so many options on
So
streaming.
many options.
Those shows and movies get a chance to see the light of day because of that, and I think that's something, like you were saying, networks or major networks, you can bypass them to go do something else, or even YouTube would
Because
be like the next tier of that.
The
too.
major networks don't really matter anymore, which really sucks. Like the only reason I even watch anything on ABC is because I still watch it. I'm in like the 18th year of fucking Grey's Anatomy, but like I also
It's not the same.
It's not.
They did my boy Karev dirty too, by the way.
I mean he's fine. He's living with AC. He's fine. But yeah.
That shouldn't be a thing.
But there
Anyway.
is a new show with this girl Quinta. I don't know if you ever watched anything on BuzzFeed, but she started on BuzzFeed and like she was in the Black Lady sketch comedy show on HBO.
That's
and, like,
just fucking hilarious.
yeah, she's like all up in all the black stuff on TV, and then like she's a writer and all that, and she got her own show on ABC. Like it streams on Hulu, which is the only reason I watch it
Yeah.
because I don't have cable anymore.
Yeah.
I used to have the cable app. They had an app, like a streaming app for Spectrum. You'd have to download,
Oh,
and then
yeah.
you could see the guide and everything and switch channels. But like, I'm so happy for her getting her like show on ABC, but it's just like I only watch it because it's on Hulu. But then
Yeah.
at the same time, the format of that show, it's like it's very much like a network show, you know. So it's just like, would it have been as good if it was on YouTube? Because I mean,
Probably. I think they bent it a little bit. I mean, you're dealing with executives, and the
Mhm.
thing about entertainment on the major networks like that, you want something that can also bring in advertising, which is
Yeah.
part of the reason why these shows. Oh, no one's tuning into the show. We gotta
I'm
get rid of it.
surprised.
Yeah.
You just reminded me. Speaking of network shows, I can't remember. I might be wrong on this. If The Good Place started on NBC and then got moved to streaming,
I think
Mhm.
so. Yeah.
which was surprising that it lasted as long as it did on NBC. Sorry, because it's so existential.
Weird.
Yeah, and
It's
I was
all
like,
about like philosophy.
yeah, and I was like, this show. I was immediately like, I heard Leah watching the show, and I was like, this show sounds dope. Like, what
Mother
the heck?
fudger.
Like what the heck is this? And not even like the writing's really good and the cast and the crew are amazing, but it's like,
Mhm.
how did this show get made on NBC and it was on as long as it was, and then
Yeah,
it got,
they dropped it in the 4th season, and then the 5th
Yeah.
season was picked up.
like I'm surprised it was on network television because it talks about themes and all that.
Kantian theory and
Yeah,
all that.
like it well, even just like, you know, people don't like talking about death, and it's in spades in that show, which is crazy. And the fact that it lasted as long as it did on NBC
well, the thing is like
phenomenal.
there was no lasting. He had a end. I
Yeah.
mean, a beginning and an end.
Yeah.
And I really appreciate that. I don't need like you're telling a story. the story has a beginning, middle, and end. Like 17, like I'm gonna keep watching Grey's Anatomy, but come
Oh
on.
god.
We're on 17 seasons.
That's why
like,
I
and they're
like-
running out of shit. Like, how many cars need to explode? How many sinkholes there need to be? They just ran off
They-
of
They just
a mountain again to
They
get another
upgraded-
transplant heart to
Don't they
somebody.
upgrade like disasters? Like one was
No.
like a plane crash. One's like the city of Chicago imploded. I'm sure. Hades
They're in
is
Seattle.
it's gonna
That is-
collapse. Oh yeah, there you
It's
go.
like Sunnyvale.
It's gonna collapse
It's a
into
demon.
It's gonna collapse into Hades and like demons
Yeah.
are gonna come like. They're
And then
gonna-
she's gonna have to get the heart transplant to save the demon or something.
to save the chosen one or something. I
that
don't
one
know.
demon is the good demon. Like
Yeah, see?
she is to make
He
sure
works for
he's
bad
bad.
people, but he's a good person.
Yeah.
But like
she
Supernatural's a
sleeps with
show.
them.
Supernatural's a show like that too.
My sister actually went back and watched because like she was all about it up to like season I think 5 or something, and then
that's like
she had to
5
go back
5
and
to
watch everything over to get to season 10 to understand everything.
5 to 7 is like the sweet spot for
Mhm.
shows. Like Mr. Robot was only what 4 seasons?
Yeah,
I
Yeah,
haven't heard that show in a
that's
while.
perfect.
I fucking love that. That's one of my favorite.
Yeah.
shows on
Like
TV.
Mad Men was good too. I don't think it lasted long.
I think it was
Six
like 6
Mad Men,
seasons.
Mad Men 6 seasons.
I don't think
But
it
I
lasted
will-
longer than it needed to.
The thing is though, back in the day, the reason why like people try to get as many seasons as possible is because of syndication. And no, that's
Yeah.
not a thing anymore.
Yeah.
Because like you had to hit 100 episodes before you could get syndication.
Yeah.
But since no one cares about that anymore because we have streaming, it's just like do your 4-season show, you know?
There
I
were
will say I would sorry.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say I do wish that Issa like Insecure was still going on though. I feel like she could have so many more stories to tell.
But
Unless you're gonna tell me that it ended in a good way that tied it up. Yes or no?
I'm not going to tell you anything, but I will say there is an avenue for them to have done more.
Mm-hmm.
I think you'll be satisfied with how.
Okay. I promise I'm gonna watch it.
Yeah. On that note, I hope you're satisfied with this ending, everyone. We do have more. We do have more content coming out this year. Chanel's a part of the crew now. There you go.
Yeah.
We have movie club coming up, so Ghost in the Shell. I'll make more announcements for that. Actually, I'm gonna make Joe's ass make announcements for that because that's your pick. You do the promos. I'll cut them.
I
Whatever.
just need to know when y'all want to do this.
Well, we'll get together with the group that is, hit
Put
and miss.
me in the group chat.
Date
I
I'll
wanna
tell you,
talk to
I'll
people.
put you in the group
We
chat.
gotta go through HR. We gotta do all the onboarding.
We got to find the
process.
onboarding. We got to make sure your login works.
You gotta get your email going.
Oh man.
Gotta give you the station vehicle.
The
iHeartRadio gave us a vehicle.
you get a gas card. It's cool.
I don't want to touch any gas cards.
It has $10 on it. So
I've had enough trouble.
$10
with gas
$10
cards.
lose-
a week.
use-
$10 a week.
No, it's a month.
This show sounds janky as hell. $10 a month.
I say it's a
And-
gas card.
It's
actually,
janky, Chanel. It
it's a
doesn't even
used-
pay us to have our own internet. You're in a cafe right now using somebody else.
A really
Oh.
low fidelity cafe.
oh my god.
Anyway, we'll put Chanel in the group chat. I really do want to find a time for all of us to be together. Movie club coming up. I want to rank some Marvel shows. I know people have done this already, but it's our spin on it. Whatever. We're fucking cooler than them anyway. And we have more stuff lined up too that I have coming down the pipe.
Is that a
It's two other ideas. That's not anything else. Anyway, find us wherever you get your podcasts. Spotify is a good place to do that. Spreaker is better. Apple Podcast, Google Play. I think it's not called
called
Google
Studios.
Music.
Yeah.
Google. Man,
the Google
that's,
service?
that's why they dropped it. Yeah, you can find it on Google. We're everywhere. Search the Sunday Funday Podcast. Facebook, anywhere you get your streaming services. YouTube will probably be, I have to kind of shape that up a little bit more, but you can watch the video version. If you're just listening to the podcast, you actually want to see our faces, go to YouTube for that. Search the Sunday Funday Podcast. I know there's a whole bunch of them out there. We're the first one listed, and we're the one with the cool logo with the neon
For the
text.
neon, yeah.
Yeah, look for the neon. Also, we're like way better than those other ones. I've listened to them. Yeah.
Trying to
not
start beef with other podcasters? That we're
They know nothing of us. Be kind to one another, everyone.